Did you know that the average person wastes nearly $18,000 a year on unnecessary expenses? That's right, a staggering 18 grand. And the worst part is, most of us don't even realize we're doing it. We're talking about those small, seemingly insignificant purchases that add up over time. The daily coffee runs, the impulsive online shopping, the latest tech gadgets we convince ourselves we absolutely need. This shocking reality is a wake-up call. It's time to rethink our spending habits. It's time to look back and learn from the old ways, the times when people lived more frugally and saved more money. But don't despair, this isn't about depriving yourself of life's pleasures. It's about making smarter choices, being more conscious about where your money goes, and ultimately, having more money to spend on the things that truly matter to you. Imagine what you could do with an extra $18,000 a year. Let's dive into some old-fashioned frugal living tips that can help you save that much or more. Think back to your grandparents or great-grandparents. They knew a thing or two about frugal living, didn't they? Let's take a trip down memory lane, back to a time when waste wasn't an option, and every penny counted. Picture this, your grandmother, in her cozy kitchen, baking bread from scratch. Not because it was trendy, but because it was economical and delicious. She'd knead the dough with her strong hands, those hands that had seen decades of hard work and frugal living. And the smell, oh, the smell. Freshly baked bread is something you never forget. And it wasn't just about food. Your grandparents knew the value of things. They'd repair rather than replace, sew rather than buy new. A sock could be darned, a shirt could be patched, a dress could be handed down from sister to sister. They'd also save on utilities. Remember the stories about grandma washing dishes in a basin to save water, or grandpa reading, by the light of a single lamp, to save electricity. They knew the value of resources and how to use them wisely. And let's not forget about entertainment. They didn't need fancy gadgets or expensive outings. They'd find joy in the simple things. A game of cards, a walk in the park, a good book borrowed from the library. It's so easy to get caught up in the consumerist wave of buying and discarding. But our grandparents, they had it figured out. They knew living a frugal life did not mean living without. It meant living within their means, cherishing what they had, and finding joy in simplicity. Their lessons, their lifestyle, their wisdom, it's something we can all learn from. And not just to save money, but to appreciate what we have, to reduce waste, and to live a more fulfilling, sustainable life. And that's just a taste of the wisdom our elders have to share. Let's dig a little deeper. Now, let's see how these old-fashioned frugal living tips can work in our modern world. Imagine this. You're about to head to the grocery store. Instead of grabbing a pre-made shopping list or simply winging it, you sit down to plan your meals for the week. You base this plan on what you already have in your pantry, aiming to buy only what you need to complete these meals. This approach, my friends, is a throwback to times when every penny mattered, and let me tell you, it still does. Another tip is to adopt the use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without mentality. For instance, before rushing to replace a torn shirt, why not try to mend it? If your blender breaks, could you manage with a whisk or a fork until you can afford a new one? Not only will you save money, but you'll also reduce waste, contributing to a more sustainable lifestyle. Let's not forget the age-old practice of bartering. Although it might seem outdated in today's era, it is still surprisingly applicable. Perhaps you have a friend who's a whiz at fixing electronics, and you're pretty handy in the garden. Why not swap skills instead of forking out cash? And of course, there's the tradition of home cooking. Not only does preparing your meals save you money compared to eating out or buying pre-made meals, but it also allows you to control what goes into your food. You don't need to be a gourmet chef. Simple, nutritious meals can be both satisfying and budget-friendly. Lastly, let's consider thrift shopping. It's not just a trend, it's a way of life that our grandparents knew well. Not everything needs to be brand new. Often, you can find high-quality items at a fraction of the original cost. As you can see, these aren't complicated strategies. They're simple, practical changes that can have a significant impact on your spending. And the beauty of it all, these methods aren't just about saving money, they're about living a life of simplicity and intentionality. It's amazing how these old-fashioned tips can still have a big impact on our wallets today. So, are you ready for a challenge? Let's dive into a world where frugality meets fun, where pennies pinch more than you think, and where saving $1,000 is not just a dream, but a reality waiting to unfold. Now, imagine this, a challenge that not only tests your resolve, but also rewards you with $1,000 at the end. Sounds exciting, right? But hold on, it's not going to be a walk in the park. The first obstacle you're likely to encounter is the temptation to splurge. Those shiny new gadgets, the latest fashion trends, and that mouth-watering gourmet burger, they all seem to be calling your name. But remember, every dollar saved is a dollar earned. So, how do you overcome this? Here's a tip from Grandma's playbook. Whenever you feel the urge to spend, take a moment to think. Do you really need it? Or is it just a fleeting desire? More often than not, you'll find that it's the latter. Next up, the hurdle of convenience. In this fast-paced world, we often choose convenience over savings. But remember, Grandma didn't have the luxury of home deliveries or online shopping. She walked to the local grocer, compared prices, and made smart choices. To conquer this, plan your meals ahead, make a grocery list, and stick to it. Avoid impulse purchases and take advantage of sales and discounts. Lastly, the challenge of consistency. Saving $1,000 isn't a one-day affair. It's a journey that requires consistency and commitment. And the best way to ensure this is by tracking your progress. Keep a record of your savings and celebrate small victories. So, are you ready to take up the challenge? Are you ready to embrace the old-fashioned frugal tips and save $1,000? Remember, the journey of $1,000 begins with a single penny. So, what frugal living tip will you start with to save $1,000? There you have it, folks. Frugal living doesn't have to be boring or difficult. We've taken a journey back in time, revisiting the treasured wisdom of our grandparents and their old-fashioned frugal habits. We've explored how these timeless tips can be applied in our contemporary lives and how they can help us save a significant sum, a cool $1,000 to be precise. The challenge has been laid out for you. It's time to embrace these practical, simple yet effective strategies. Bring back the habit of mending over buying new, of saving leftovers for creative future meals, of using resources sparingly and thoughtfully. It's time to redefine our understanding of necessity and rediscover the joy of living within our means. Now, I want to hear from you. What frugal living tip will you start with to save $1,000? Leave a comment below and don't forget to subscribe for more money-saving tips and tricks.